Hey my pretties, so I am going to be telling you a story about, or a spooky story while I'm doing my makeup called Dead Butterflies. So, here we go. A man lived with his wife and two children on the top of a mountain overlooking a pine forest. One night, the man killed his wife and children, then himself. He used a single knife. The knife thickened with each death. 4 bodies were carried down the mountain, but everything else was left. Almost as soon as the news of the murder reached down the mountain and beyond the pine forest, people began ascending the mountain, breaking into the house, taking pictures off walls, clothes out of closets, jewelry out of drawers, lamps, tables, teacups. Then glass was removed from the windows. The walls and floors were stained with blood, and the house began falling apart. The wooden stairs leading to the front and back doors slid away from the house, so the house seemed to float. The beds, the pillows, the blankets, and sheets, however, were left untouched. People told stories about sneaking into the house at night and being harassed, not by a ghost exactly, but a force. People tried to sleep in the beds as if to reclaim the sleep of the dead. The first story I heard was about a young woman and man who were dared by their friends to spend a night in the house. The man fell asleep, but the woman, giddy with fear, stayed awake and watched as the man was dragged by an unseen hand off the end of the bed onto the floor. A man from the south said he got drunk and climbed into one of the beds. He was lifted up to the ceiling where he was, in his words, floated. He hobbled down the mountain and did not sleep, he said, for 1 week. The stories made the forest sound like a succubus, though more like muscle of wind. The man from the south described it in a way that made the violent sound almost gentle. No one seemed bothered by the murder. Maybe there had not been a murder. Maybe the murder existed in story only, not even as a means to explain paranormal phenomena, or the projection of the desire to be interpreted, brave, and a little insane. Just because people like to believe in ghosts does not mean they believe in ghosts. I walked with 2 friends up the mountain. The sun had just set. We brought a flashlight. Weeds grew out of the wide cracks in the road, which was cut like a spiral around the side of the mountain. We were surprised to find more than one house at the top, a neighborhood. Why any neighbors awake when the man why were any of the neighbors awake when the man killed his family? All the houses were empty. We were told the house was white with green trim. It was the house at the end of the road, before the mountain ended in a cliff of trees. Eaves hung long over the windows. The house was in a deep sleep. We climbed the detached floating steps. An index card was nailed to the side of the house near the doorway. It said only malaria. The inside of the house was mostly bare. There were chairs and tables and picture frames on the walls, but the glass was too moldy to see what was showing. The kitchen smelled of ammonia. A wind blew through the broken glass, window screens. The family was home in the bedrooms. They had just stepped out or evaporated, leaving everything, as they say, as it was. Despite hearing the house had been ransacked, the closets were full of clothes. There were lamps and books and papers and small unidentifiable objects folded, eyes like seeds, whiskers and shavings on the bedside tables, clothes on the floor, and photographs and drawings on the walls. Drawers were open, but not all the way. Everything belonged. Everything still had an owner. The moon had come out, but must have been low, below the mountain, or in the grass, because its light shone only high up on the walls and the ceiling. There was an armoire. It stood, a solemn door, against the furthest wall. It was the most reclusive thing in all the rooms, a door that opened only unto itself. It was the scar of having been sole witness to a violent act, and yet immobile, without recourse to intervene or extend safe passage through. It looked like its thoughts, its guilt, had gone on forever. But there was no blood. There was no blood in the beds. Where did the murders take place? There was no water in the toilet. It was strange that the bedrooms had not been emptied, that they had been left more or less intact, more or less as if the family never left their rooms, never used the bathroom, never cooked food, never sat together in the living room. Maybe the wooden stairs outside had slid away long before they did. There was a creased, discolored photograph of a young woman on the vanity in the largest of the bedrooms. It caught the flashlight, then followed us down the hallway, back into the open. I imagine it accompanying the murders unwittingly. Though the young woman, however, she might have been related to the wife or the husband, the children, was disarmed, unable to arrest time on the other side of her portrait. I imagine she was also dead, while also the lone survivor, the witness. Maybe it is easy to say, hers is the only face we saw. We attributed life and death on the mountain to her. There was no summoning the faces of the man or the children. Maybe it was the face of a sister or an aunt or a mother, a mistress. It was creased and discolored but cared for. It had been brought out. There was a tree in the photograph, the trunk of a tree, but the atmosphere of a city. How did she get on the top of the mountain? Wherever the young woman was now, there was the impression that she was still aging, still living her life. She was threatening the sovereignty of the future in which she might be liberated from witnessing murder. We had not noticed coming in that the hallway was 2 inches thick with dead butterflies. The later it got, the more voluminous they became. The moon was now on the ceiling. Our steps through the house were traced in the butterflies. We sat on the floor. We were hoping the fear would knock us out, but the dogs started barking around the edges of the house. Then there were dogs underneath the house. The butterflies heaved, as if the dogs had their noses pressed to the floor and were breathing through the cracks. We heard voices. Men were fighting in the tall grass outside. Someone was urinating in a bush. The leaves crackled. Hugo, we whispered loudly to each other. There was nothing. Then a wind blew. The wings parted, giving the appearance of a ghost walking through without lifting its feet, gliding from one room to another. We did not last the night. At the bottom of the mountain, the pine forest was dotted with small fires. The moonlight, filtered through the pine trees, was blue. Mennonite families were gathered around the fires. It was the middle of the night. Everyone turned, except the women. We could only make out the women by the bright blue of their caps nodding slowly. The children stared up at us like we were the shadows of very large animals growing out of the earth. Their eyes were large, some very small. Their noses were high. They were fully dressed. They were not eating or drinking, but standing, keeping the fires. Shadows moved across their bodies, large waves, or like we had something of the house, the murder, on us, and they could smell it, like we were trailing through it within the trees. Maybe they had visited the house too. Maybe they even lasted the night. It occurred to me that the Mennonites might have been standing in the very same spot, however, many years earlier, keeping identical fires when the murders took place. They might have seen 4 bodies being carried through the pine forest. Where were the bodies taken? I could almost read the route of the procession on their faces. The only ones among the Mennonites who were asleep were the babies floating in the shadows of their mothers' nodding heads. They looked unreal, but they also looked in control, as if all the expression of movements, the motionlessness, the apparitions of the fires climbing up the bodies were connected directly to the babies' primitive dreams. Blue moonlight curved around the ends of their ears, which stood like small wings straight out from their heads. The moonlight moves, but the ears stay until the ears move. I hope you guys enjoyed that story about the dead butterflies. I thought it was appropriate as because I am making a butterfly eye look. But yeah, so for the rest of the time, just enjoy the music, and I hope you enjoy it.
thoughts. They have not been structured so much yet into a belief system.
Okay, my pretties, this is the final look. If you hear a lot of background, it's because 2-year-old is not napping today. Okay, got up at midnight. This boy did. Got up at midnight. Didn't go back to sleep till like way after 3 a.m. So I'm running on 0. I'm surprised I even done this look, I swear, because or I had the energy to do it, because oh my god, I'm tired, and I'm running on coffee, and that's about it. But I promised this look to Jamie. She sent this look to me, and she was like, you gotta try it, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. So I didn't really have, I've just got so much that's due Sunday for my class that I was just like, man, I'm just gonna do a quick makeup eye look. I didn't even do both eyes, as you can see, because I just got, it's just so much to do. But I'm keeping my word. I'm uploading. Okay. So I'm wearing my husband's coat because I love it. Anyways, so this is the look. I'll just I'm gonna show you what the actual art, like the girl that created this look, I guess. It was on Instagram. Fabulous. Like, she is so super talented. So I am nowhere near her level, but this is what I came up with. Okay. And the problem was the eyeliner marker that I was using was pathetic. Okay, and it wasn't coming out good, and I didn't want to use my Ariana Rim eyeliner marker because well, I don't want to waste it, because, you know, whatever. But I did have one by NYX, and I was trying to use it, but it didn't, I don't know, I hadn't used it in a little bit. I never did like that eyeliner marker, so I just set it aside for like stuff like this. But it didn't come out good onto the, it was just like really light. So I was like, dang, what am I gonna do? So I was like, I'll take my black eyeshadow and just kind of go over what I did with the marker. Anyways, I took my eyeshadow, went back over it over the marker, and tried to deepen the black, but the powder
as you can tell, the powder, it flakes a lot, okay? So you're gonna have like fallout. And it kind of got in there and messed. See, because that's a whole different color right there, you can see. That's supposed to be in the inner corner. And the lines and stuff, it just made it kind of whatever. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not, I don't think it's bad look or whatever. It's definitely not hers, but she has like, I mean, it was just gliding, girl. I mean, I think she probably had like the black gel liner or something that she was using. So it was really good. It's on Instagram. It's a reel, but yeah. So I just thought I would attempt it, and I hope you enjoyed it. If I happen to have, because I don't know right now if I'm if I'm going to, but I'm gonna try. If I happen to have slipped in a little paranormal story time while I was doing that makeup look, I hope you enjoyed that. If not, I hope you enjoyed the music and whatever else I decide to do during that time. And yeah, so sorry this is like a short video, or I guess it's short. I hope you enjoy it, and then the next few days I'll probably throw in a couple of documentary Sam After Darks, because they're kind of quick and easy and I can just kind of throw them together, and then I'll plan on doing something else from there. So anyways, thank you for your patience with all the noise, and again I apologize, but I have to fit this in sometime. And it's forever to wait for him to take a nap, because then if I wait too late, then I'm gonna have my whole afternoon like no. It's not gonna work. So I'm fitting it in now. Hope you like this look. It's pretty cool. Thank you, Jamie, for the suggestion. I still have another one that I have to do for you, and there was another one that Dee Illusions from the Side of the Road. She is a YouTube channel. You should check her out. She's also with Paranormally Blonde. They are a YouTube channel and they are awesome. Sarah and Dee, it's so great. So if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will start sharing that out so you can jump in and get involved in the conversation with what they have about paranormal. It's a great time. They interview all kinds of interesting people that deal with paranormal, that investigate. It's great. So I will do that. So there's a plug and a shout out. So anyways, before I keep rambling, I'm going to go for now. I will see you guys next time. Bye.